Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you my LightWorm deck profile for May 2012. I thought this was a pretty good, cool idea for me to do with my worm deck. I mixed in a few of the new Lightray monsters that came out in the Galactic Overlord pack, and so far it's been working out pretty well for me. I'll go through the deck, show you what it's made up of, how I emphasize using the Lightrays mixed with the worms and all that. And let's go ahead and get started. First up, the basic. You run 3 Worm Zex and 3 Worm Yugioh. These two cards work really well together. Worm Zex's effect is when he is normal summon, you can send 1 worm monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you control a face-up Worm Yugioh, he cannot be destroyed by battle. And Worm Yugioh's effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard, if the only monster you control is Worm Zex, you can special summon it face down. And in general, when he's flipped face up, you can return 1 face-up monster your opponent controls on the field to their hand. So these two work really well together. I also like Zex's effect for adding 1 worm to the graveyard because that really helps with the Lightray effect. I also run 2 Worm Tentacles. I thought about this card mainly because I liked its effect to remove from play 1 reptile worm monster from my graveyard. After you do so, this card can attack twice, so with 1700 attack power, he's quite a threat to your opponent. And also, like I said, the banish really helps with the Lightray monster special summoning. I also run 2 Worm Carteros, there we go. His effect is when he is flipped, add 1 level 4 or lower reptile monster from your deck to your hand. So he's pretty much just extra search. And I also run 1 Worm Apocalypse. When he's flipped up, destroy 1 spell or trap card on the field. I'm running a variety of worms just to make it easier to get my Lightrays out, because a lot of Lightrays call for different 5 or more light monsters with different names. So I also run 1 Worm Lynx. Every time after he's been flipped up, that he's face up on the field, I draw a card. So draw power with that one. And I also run 2 Worm Kings. They can be tribute summoned by tributing 1 reptile worm monster. And you can also tribute a worm monster you control to destroy 1 card your opponent controls, so I run 2 of them. Like I said, you want a variety of worm monsters in this deck to really help with your Lightrays. I also run 2 Evil Dragon Ananta. This card really helps with your worm banishing. To get this card out on the field, you remove from play all worms in your graveyard and on the field. So pretty much with this, and he gains 600 attack for each one you removed. And at the end of your phase, you destroy 1 card on the field. So I really like his effect. Very easy to get out. You pretty much only need 1 worm on the field or in your graveyard to special summon him. And we'll move on to the Lightrays. I run 1 Lightray Diablos. With this card, to special summon it, you have to have 5 or more light monsters with different names in your graveyard. And once per turn, you can banish 1 light monster from your graveyard to target 1 set card your opponent controls, reveal it, and then place it on the top or bottom of their deck. And he's got 2800 attack. He's a real hassle to get rid of once he hits the field. And like I said, that's why I needed so many different worm monsters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to work with this deck. So it makes him easier to get out. In your main Lightray that I use in the deck, I run 2 Lightray Diablos. This card can be special summoned when you have 3 or more light monsters removed from play or banished, whatever way you want to say it. And his effect is you can target 1 of your banished light monsters and 1 face-up monster on the field. Shuffle your target back into the deck and banish that monster. So he's pretty much like Chaos Sorcerer, just a little more to work with. And he also cannot attack when he's activated. But him and Anantos work really well together, because after you've banished the worm monsters, you have him in your hand, you're all ready. If your opponent doesn't like this special summon, you'll have this one right up, ready to go. And I also run 1 Honest, pretty much because all the monsters in this deck are light, so he pretty much worked with any of those. That's it for the monster lineup. We'll move on to spells. I run 1 Future Fusion. I use this card. Yes, you can get out Worm 0 with this card if you last that long with it on the field. But another reason I like it is because I like to remove from play 1 of each different name for my worm monsters. get them in the graveyard, and pretty much be set to summon Lightray Diablos, or get ready for Evil Dragon Ananta. These two in my hand make for a pretty good hand, pretty good start off against your opponent. I also run one Book of Moon and one Book of Tayo. Book of Moon flips monsters on a monster on the field face down, in face down defense position, and Book of Tayo flips them up to face up attack position. So pretty much I can either stop one of my opponent's monsters with Book of Moon. I really like Book of Tayo because I can set my worm monster, use this, flip it up, and automatically get its effect. So I run one of each of those. I also run one Gold Sark just for a little extra search. Foolish Burial helps get the worm monsters in the graveyard faster. And two Mystical Space Typhoon, one Dark Hole, and one Heavy Storm. That's it for the spell lineup. We'll move on to traps. I run two W Nebula Meteorite. This card was pretty much made for the worm reptiles. Its effect is change all face down monsters on the field to face up defense position, and during the end phase, change all face up light reptile monsters you control to face down defense position and draw a card for each. After that, you can special summon one level 7 or higher reptile monster from your deck. So pretty much you get all the flip effects from your worm monsters, and in the end you can special summon one Worm King and get extra draw power from each worm that was flipped. I also run one Offering to the Snake Deity because I have a lot of reptiles in this deck, help get rid of some of my opponent's cards. One Starlight Road just for some protection, Mere Force, Solemn Judgment, two Solemn Warnings, a Deep Prison, and two Bottomless. Just a little trap support to protect my worms. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the main deck. As for the extra deck, I have the Worm Zero, and I also have Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road, and I also recommend running any rank 4 Exceed monster you can find, because this with Yagan and Zex equal out for a pretty quick Exceed summon, so I recommend running that as well. And that's pretty much it, because you don't really need an extra deck for this deck. Like I said, they're pretty much good with their own effects. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. I'm still testing it, so I'll be running a lot of tests with it on Duel Network if you guys are up to playing against it. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend giving it a shot. Hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.